Good morning. Hope everyone is well. Hope your day is going well so far. Oh my God, we made it Friday. Yay, Friday. Guys, wasn't it just Friday last week? And now we're back on Friday, payday, and whatever going on, huh, guys? Oh my word. It's Friday. My word. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Now, as you guys see the content, you guys, influencer shot dead on TikTok Live in Mexico. Investigation treated it like femicide, allegedly, on my side. We don't want to drag out the story. We really just want to get into it. We just want to say, welcome on in the live. When you do welcome on in the live, share the live. Also, when even if you don't catch the live and you watch the video, share the video. Okay, turn on your notification bell because I could come on anytime, any hour, any minute, any second. Yes. Not only that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Share. And for the new subscribers, welcome. Thank you. And for those that haven't subscribed yet, or in their feelings about subscription, please do. The door is always open and you're always welcome. So let's dive in. Let's jump into this content, all the way down into this content, so to speak, and then we'll go from there. So again, once again, guys, happy Friday, and let's get into our content. Valeria Marquez, who was Mexican influencer, killed live on TikTok. When a 23-year-old Mexican influencer was shot dead while streaming on TikTok, rumors began to swirl. Was it a cartel hit or another tragic example of violence against women? On Tuesday, Valeria Marquez was shot dead at Blossom the Beauty Lounge, a beauty salon owned by the victim in Zapopan, a town in central eastern state of Jalisco. The state prosecutor office said it is investigating the crime as a femicide, meaning that it believes the crime was motivated by the fact that the victim was a woman. The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, said an investigation is underway. We are working to catch those responsible and find out why this happened. But the fact that the crime took place in Jalisco, the state where the fear cartel Jalisco Nueva, led to a speculation by some that the cartel may somehow be involved. Miss Marquez was a Mexican model who began to make a name for herself in 2021 after winning Miss Rostro, Miss Face Beauty pageant, according to the Mexican media reports. Shortly thereafter, she began creating content on social media. She would share makeup tips and personal care routines, talk about fashion, and show off her travels. Photo of her on private jets and yachts can be seen on her Instagram account, which had more than 223,000 followers at the time of her death. Miss Marquez also had another 100,000 followers on TikTok, although it's unclear exactly what happened. During her final live stream, Miss Marquez said she was waiting for a courier she knew to deliver a gift. She added that she was a bit worried because her friend could not see the courier's face when he arrived. Why didn't he just drop it off, the gift? Were you going to pick me up? Kidnap me or what? She wondered aloud to her followers. So she was on live and she's asking the followers, why didn't he not just drop it off? Were they going to pick me up, kidnap me, or what? She wondered aloud to her followers. So you know that instinct? Oh no. While holding a pink stuffed animal, Miss Marquez looked away from the camera and immediately grabbed her chest and belly before collapsing into her chair. Another woman then took the phone and ended the live stream. Police arrived at the scene around 1830 local time. Okay? 12:30 GMT and confirmed Mrs. Marquez's death according to the state prosecutor. Authorities says that at least 2 men on a motorcycle arrived at the salon and one of them asked the victim if she was Valeria. When she replied yes, he pulled out a gun and shot her at least twice before fleeing. Investigators say they are checking the CCTV footage and tracking Mrs. Marquez's social media accounts for clues as to who the attackers might be. Motive still unknown. But the salon's location in the wealthy Zapopan area of Guadalajara has raised questions about the motive for the crime, while the presence of private security and the tightness of its streets give the impression that Zapopan is a safe area. In reality, it's one of the most violent municipalities, okay, in Jalisco. Oh my. In fact, shooting regularly occur in the area's shopping center. More than half of the real estate and commercial in the area is connected to laundering of drug trafficking money, according to the U.S. Department of Justice. Jalisco ranked 6th among Mexico 32 states, including Mexico City, in terms of homicides, with 906 murders registered since the beginning of President Claudia Sheinbaum's term in October 2024, according to the data consulting firm Research. It's also one of the Mexican states most affected by the cartels. It was here 50 kilometers from the Zapopan that a cartel training center was found in March. And it's here that 15,000 people have disappeared since 2018. So people, basically they're saying that they think Zapopan area is safe, but now we get to understand that there was 906 murders since October 2024, and also 50 kilometers from Zapopan, there's 15,000 people have disappeared since 2018. The same day that Marquez was killed, a former congressman named Luis Armando Diaz was murdered just 2 kilometers away, according to the newspaper. So if a former congressman could be killed there, much less this influencer, right? According to the state of Jalisco, as many as 90% of crimes are never reported or investigated. Oh no. The state of attorney office also along being accused of having links to cartels, which it denies. The prosecutor's office said that so far they have no reason to suspect that Mrs. Marquez's murder was ordered or carried out by any of the organized criminal groups operating in the area. Instead, the office suggested the murderer may have been motivated to kill her because of her gender. Mexican media outlets had previously published messages which Miss Marquez blamed her ex-partner if anything happened to her. Mayor of Zapopan, Juan Jose Frangi, said his office had no record of Miss Marquez requesting help from the authorities due to threats against her, adding a femicide is the worst thing, according to the news agency AFP. in response to claims pointing to alleged perpetrators of the femicides in Zapopan, we clarify that there are no direct accusations against any individuals in the investigation file. The Jalisco prosecutor's office said in a statement. All statements including videos and social media posts, are being analyzed. The investigation is being conducted under the Femicide protocol with a gender perspective without and according to the principles of legality, impartiality, and respect for the human rights. It added, gender-based violence is a serious problem in Mexico, a country that ranks fourth in the Latin America and the Caribbean of rates of femicide. Beyond, okay? According to the latest data from the United Nations, okay, Economic Commission from Latin America and the Caribbean, there were 1.3 deaths every year, 100,000 women in Mexico in 2023, Reuters reported. Okay? Less than 48 hours before Mrs. Marquez's murder, Yesenia Laurier, a mayor candidate from Morena, the ruling party in the city of Texas, Topeka, was killed while participating in a political motorcade, like the influencer case. The politician murder was recorded by cameras because the event was being live streamed on Facebook. So basically they're saying that Mexico's been killing off their women for a very long time. So when everybody is shouting other Caribbean island, it's not only other Caribbean island as well. Mexico have their situation, their problems, their ash and ish with their femicides when it comes to women as well. Okay, guys? So I had to... Sorry, guys. I had to come and share. Let me go off and come back on. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I had to, because if I'm not, I'm going to be out of it, right? You know, the live is going to hang up. So anyways, guys, so at that point, that's what I wanted to come and talk about. So let's get into it. Some hear it from the news, all right?
And Valeria Marquez, a 23-year-old Mexican beauty influencer, was tragically shot and killed during a TikTok live stream, drawing attention back to Mexico's ongoing femicide crisis. The incident occurred on Tuesday at a beauty salon in Jalisco, where Marquez worked. According to the state prosecutor, the case is being investigated as a femicide, which is a gender-based crime, often involving intimate partners or extreme violence. Moments before the attack, Valeria appeared unsettled during her live stream, mentioning someone had come up earlier with an expensive gift. She was seen holding a stuffed toy and responding to a voice saying, "Hey, Vale," before muting the audio. Gunshots were then heard, and someone briefly appeared on camera before the live stream tragically ended. Marquez has close to 200,000 followers on TikTok and Instagram. Her murder adds to the growing concerns over violence against women in Mexico, which had a femicide rate of one of the highest in Latin America.
Imagine that, people. So if you didn't know, Mexico has one of the highest rate of femicide against women. Women been dying from left to right in Mexico. Now also from there, guys, we're going to leave from there since we're talking about Mexico. Okay? And since we're talking about women, and since we're talking about the missing, okay, I also want to get into some other stuff, all right? So let's get into some other stuff for a second. Now, not only that, in Mexico, there's a judge that is being charged for some missing students. So a Mexican judge arrested over 2014 disappearance of 43 students, and they don't know where they are. They're wondering where these students are. Nobody know where these students are. And it's a judge. So was this sex trafficking allegedly? Did she sell the student allegedly? What happened when it comes to the students? Where are the students? Okay? So we don't know either. So right now in Mexico, not only that there's femicide, and Mexico has one of the highest rates of femicide against women, or femicide, a killing of women. There's a Mexican judge arrested over 2014. She was being investigated for a while. 2024, they went to speak to her. 2025, she's locked up for the 2014 disappearance of a 43 students missing. A judge. So a lot of times there's some high profile people allegedly, sometimes in the process or in the making or in the plot and you know, and these kind of situation to maybe make these children or these people go missing from 2014 until now. They don't know where those 43 students are. They're missing. So now they decide we're going to lock you guys up because something have to have happened to those 43 students. So if you're just coming onto this live, thank you for coming in. Okay, good morning to you. Hope your day is going on well. We're just talking about an influencer that shot live on a TikTok live while in Mexico. So it's not only other places or in Jamaica where everybody's talking about people are getting on lives. It's basically happening in real life. Not only that, from there, we end up here. If you're just commenting on the live, Mexican judge arrested over 2014 disappearance of 43 students. Been an investigation for a while. And now she's been arrested because until now, there's no veil of the 43 students that are missing. Perhaps they were sold. Perhaps they are dead. Perhaps they were locked up somewhere or still locked up in some kind of somewhere. We're not sure. So they're missing. So they basically locked up the judge. Okay? Running on. All right? Running on. We also want to go back in 6 days ago when we did a content about this man with the housekeeper and all of these things. And we mentioned that they were scared to report anything because of their immigration status. We also mentioned that some of them claim that he raped them more than 23 times. And remember, they say perhaps in that situation, he's supposed to be, are supposedly going to be investigated criminal. Well, people, on the follow-up of the story that we did 6 days ago, let's drop it here. So what did I say to you guys? Smokey Robinson is under criminal investigation, people. Oh no. Remember I said to you, it's possible that this man is going to be arrested and he's going to move over Diddy and R. Kelly Shannon Sharp. They're surely going to move over, but he's going to sit down before Shannon Sharp on the seat where Diddy is. This man. We spoke about this man 6 days ago. We did a content on this man 6 days ago. So when I come with the content, don't play with it. Don't play with it. Just always turn on your notification bell because we always have follow-ups over here. We always get to the conclusion over here. We just don't drop stories because we're looking for views and contents. We follow up. We're on the case like Matlock, like we're on the case now, guys. So right now, like I said to you guys 6 days ago, look at my content if you're new to this channel. Go down on the live content because I mostly do lives. I hardly drop videos. Once in a while, I do some shorts. If you want the content, it would be underneath my live. Okay? Click on the live. Okay? And when you go on the live, just go down 6 days from now, from today, and you find that live of Smokey Robinson, the Motown legend. And I came and I shouted and I said, people, this man is in a big lawsuit from his housekeepers. They came out and said they were raped 10 times. One said they were raped 23 times. They came out and said they were paying him little than minimum wage. They came out and also said that they were threatened under some kind of different language, some kind of disrespect, all kind of situations. They also say that the wife isn't part of it and the wife is part of it. And they also shouted because of their immigration status. They were afraid to come out and speak. And most likely, however, moving on in the first accusation, in the first filing, they never mentioned this man. He was under secrecy. Nobody knew who the perpetrator was. But when they came up and updated the sue and the investigation, we heard that it was kidnapping and sexually abused and all of these kind of things. And now when I shouted possible, the lawyer was shouting possible that he's a serial rapist, and I would say allegedly because he still have his time in court, his day in court. You're innocent until proven guilty. Not only that, at the end of the day, the lawyer was pushing for that, and now here we are 6 days later. He's really been investigation criminal. Remember 6 days ago we were only at lawsuit civil. And I say to you guys, it's like I jinxed this man. I said, oh people, the way how I see this, oh, he's going to have to sit down beside Diddy and R. Kelly. They would have to just slide to the left and let him sit right to the right. Remember we said so? So here we are. So that was our story, follow-up story of 6 days ago. So remember, now I prove to you guys that if I do a story, if there's a follow-up, if there's a guilty verdict, if there's a payout, if there's a deal, we're on the case like Matlock. So this is why I'm bringing this fact check and resolution check. And what is the outcome check? Like right here, check. Okay, running on, moving on. Okay, guys, so I had to shout out that before we forget that, seriously, because when we come to spit about content and topic, we cannot miss. Okay, guys, now remember we spoke about the whistleblower in Elizabeth Holmes. Remember, we realized that Elizabeth Holmes, remember she's in a criminal situation. Remember, say Elizabeth Holmes' name was called up in many of these things, including with the Weinstein situation. I'm just showing that because we already talked about the Weinstein situation. But anyways, I had to just drop that part because that was something out there that they're speaking about. But anyways, Elizabeth Holmes, whistleblower, came out and have their say. Here's what I think Elizabeth Holmes is up to. Her partner's new blood testing company was Familiar People. And right now, Elizabeth Holmes are doing 11 years in jail. She appealed and all the appeal was turned down for defrauding all her investors. And guess who's running the corrupt business now, people, allegedly? Her husband. So did she lose? She's just going to do her time and come out still to money. So I would just kiss my teeth literally and pass. Next. So the ones who are supposed to really go down for timing, not getting that. And the ones that are out here barely getting by. What can we say, folks? What can we say? Okay? Running on with the content. Okay? Let's get on into some other stuff. Okay? After that, guys, we want to get into this here. So there was a body unfolded not far from Taylor Swift holiday house. The morning of May 14th, there was a grim discovery at Taylor Swift house with basically, they claim, some kind of body and some kind of feet, people. So we're lost to words to see who end up killing someone and leave the body parts near Taylor Swift. Okay, a grim scene. Go look up that. Taylor Swift seems like she has some kind of issue at her home. Moving on. Okay. All right. All right. Now, I brought this out to bring you here. Police is going door to door in DNA hunts for parents of abandoned baby Elsa and siblings. Police is searching for parents of the newborn babies, all abandoned in East London minutes after their birth, say that they are now focusing on about 400 nearby houses. So imagine you have the babies and you just abandon them right here. Right here. So over the last 5 weeks, detectives searching for the parents have given BBC News access to part of their operation. They allowed us to follow officers going door to door, okay, asking residents to provide DNA samples to see if they're connected to the babies. They're also contacting people they have found using national DNA database who may share familial DNA with children's mothers. So whether you have an auntie, sister, brother in that kind of database, they're going to find you. So better you just turn yourself in and say, sorry, you're in some kind of distress. Sorry, you didn't know what to do. But we all know you leave those babies at the hospital, go leave those babies at the fire station and the police station. We all know this. So to leave the baby and abandon the baby like that, police is going to track you down because right now they're going door to door asking for DNA unless you're going to move out to that area. They're going to find you. So you can't hide. They're going to find you. So that's kind of troubling and disturbing. But at least the babies are okay. And at least that they're in authority hands and they're not dead. Okay? Because it could be a worse scenario. And a worse case scenario anyway. That the baby them could end up dead and of that sort. Okay? Or end up in the wrong hands. So to speak. Anyways, guys. Running on. From there. We also want to talk about Chris Brown. Chris Brown performing at Tycoon Festival in Detroit. U.S. singer Chris Brown has been charged with grievous bodily harm with intent, says the police. The force says the charge related to an alleged assault reportedly took place at a nightclub in central London on the 19th, 2023. The 36-year-old was arrested at a hotel in Manchester in early hours of Thursday. Could you imagine? So you assault someone in London and then you went back over London to feel like so you're invisible to the law. And the law was just waiting for Chris Brown to say, come here, guy, I'm going to lock you up again for assault because obviously you don't know how to keep your hands to yourself. Oh, my. It's really crazy to me, but what can I say? Anyways, we want to get to the Diddy situation where in court we get to understand that Cassie says that she used the men them and the people them that they do their freakiness with like disposable. I believe the reason why Cassie had to come really forward with that big belly to sit down for 2 hours one place with that stomach, with the uncomfortable chair and all of that, is because possibly she could have been locked up too. Or locked up after this too if she's not doing that deal. Maybe that's the deal. Come and testify and then we won't lock you up. Because if you're going to shout that you use these people like disposable and you went to go buy toys too and all of these kind of things and you and him participating, it's not like he was watching you all the time with all of these men and all of these women. Him and you were right there participating, doing all kind of ish and ash. So most likely you're supposed to be locked up too and charged for trafficking too because you know these people were coming from state line. And if you know about it and then participating in a crime, then supposedly you're supposed to be locked up too. But what can I say? Empathy and sympathy. She's pregnant and yada, yada, yada. Not only that, we heard about all the drugs that she was snorting, smoking, taking, popping, injecting. So we're wondering now if the baby is okay. And with that little rehab she had in therapy, could that take out all of that drugs out of her system? Because it seems like she basically had one baby back to back, not far from ages or of that sort. And all of that. And then for Diddy, oh my God, yuck. Your daughters and your children are in the courtroom and to listen to all of that nastiness and freakiness. My stomach turned yuck. Imagine that. Troubling and disturbing. But what can I say? Let's get into some stuff. Quick and fast.
We are doing our best to be respectful of what is happening in that courtroom, but also at the same time relaying the proper information to you. Elizabeth, I know my time with you is limited. I know you have to go back in there. So I want to ask you real quick, what were the highlights of the cross-examination? And also, what is the tone by which the cross-examination is being done? Is it combative back and forth? That's the thing we can't get from the transcript right now.
Yeah, as far as the cross-examination goes, for the most part, it seems very casual. We were thinking that it might be aggressive, it might be combative, but for the most part, Cassie has been very forthcoming in answering these questions. You know, she's showing, Anna Maria Esteval is showing her text messages and email chains and BlackBerry messages from 2007, from 2009, where Cassie is confessing her love to Diddy, or she is asking for a freak off, or she's, asking, about just more intimate details from her relationship with him. Because to your point, Jesse, a lot of this stuff, a lot of some of these messages that we did see in court today were very graphic in nature. And so, the questioning was starting out about the relationship between the two. When it first started out and around that 2007 time period, around that 2009 period, that's when the questioning at the beginning of it kind of all started. And you would think that would be, an aggressive moment or a combative moment, especially as you're seeing messages that say, I'm a very lucky woman, I miss you, and I'd fly wherever you need me, I love you. And then you see Diddy respond, I love you so much, it makes me cry. And then Cassie writing back, you hungry pop. But I'm thinking, just from my perspective, that around those time frames, she was still relatively young for the most part. She was in her early 20s. She was also asked about a previous relationship she had with another music producer named Ryan Leslie. And around this time frame, the defense was kind of saying, when you started dating him, you were 18, 19 years old, and he was 10 years older than you. And
so in other words, she was dating some other man older than Diddy before even Diddy. Not only that, what is so troubling and disturbing for me is the fact that if he's not on trial for Cassie and he already paid Cassie, like I said, it's possible that they're going to charge her too why they brought her to be the key witness, to be honest. And we all also ought to understand that the third witness is still missing, okay? And not only that, at the end of the day, if he's not on trial for domestic abuse, and if he's not on trial for assault, and if he already paid her, I'm not sure how does she fit there. Just to say that she knew about the trafficking, or just to have her to say, okay, to put him at the place or point him at a place or put him at the scene that, yeah, he was really doing these things to all of these escorts. Like, I don't know. And then if you're going to say, and if she couldn't name all of these people as escort, then obviously the escorts, they have a job. Right? If you're an escort and somebody gonna call you on the phone, hey, let's have a freak off, then your job is to come and do freak off and collect your money. So that's what I'm saying. So if they're gonna charge Diddy in this RICO situation, then the prosecutor is supposed to charge everybody, including the escorts too, because why your name is escort? Because you're out here doing things that the regular people in the public don't do. You specialize in some things where regular people are not going to do. That's why they call you special. That's why you have that kind of name. So I am lost or disturbed somehow, but what can I say? So young, find this big man, go to so much red carpet event in all of these luxurious things, these expensive stuff. He never give you no children, no ring, no career, just shit piss on, box down and kick down. If Pretty was a man, then Pretty would just get up and run. Seriously? Oh, Diddy. It seems like you're a sick person. And if she can come now and be a witness that Diddy is really a crackhead, Diddy really is a weed fiend, Diddy is really a mushroom fiend, Diddy is really a pill popper, then you really can't blame all of this on Diddy a right mind. Therefore, that Diddy is not in his right mind. Like how? When you're a white person, they say that you're so strong out on cocaine. You never mean it. You didn't know what you're doing. So maybe the defense is going to play that like they said in before, because seems like Diddy was out of control with his drugs. And he was taking those drugs as well, same as her. Not only that, she also said that she got drugs from other people too, other than when Diddy give it to her. So also she was even buying illegal drugs from illegals. You know what I mean? In some kind of drug game, buying drugs. Went to sex store and buy all kind of toys too as well. She was free to go anywhere else, anywhere she wanted to go, except when he beat her up. He's like, not going anywhere, Lock, stay there. That's the only time I could understand that she wasn't allowed to go anywhere, right? He took her everywhere, to Jamaica. They were there one time. They were all over the place, I get to understand. Red carpets all over. And not one time to run away and scream out in the public. He's holding me hostage, he's abusing me. No. And then the public would paint you that you're crazy. And when this come about now, we'll be like, oh shit, Cassie was right. But for now to come sit there with your stomach, and say that you treat people like disposable, you should be locked up too, bro. But I guess you're doing a deal. All right? Because you guys were both traffickers the way I see it. Most likely. You know what I mean? And Diddy is a big pervert. And for your children to sit down there and listen to all of that, it's troubling and disturbing for me. Right? But what can I say? What can I say, folks? So I had to come and share that with you guys, so to speak, okay? Not only that, we also want to talk about another thing. We also, one second. We also want to talk about Tory Lane's bodyguard came out and have a lot more to say as well. Okay, guys? I get to understand that Tory bodyguard has some stuff to say, so let's get into that. Okay, Tory Lane's situation, okay?
As Tory Lanez recovers in a hospital after a prison stabbing attack, his father and supporters gathered today to demand his release.
The former rapper was convicted of shooting Megan the Stallion. Fox 7's Christy Fajardo tells us about the claim of new evidence.
Bringing it to light now was made necessary by the events of this week.
Just days after rapper Tory Lanez, also known as Daystar Peterson, was attacked in prison, his attorneys are calling on Governor Newsom to pardon or commute his sentence, insisting they have new evidence Lanez didn't shoot superstar Megan Thee Stallion, but it was instead her former best friend, Kelsey Harris. And they say Harris's one-time bodyguard, Bradley James, was spurred by conscience to come forward.
Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody.
Walter Roberts says the statement aligns with another witness who saw 2 women fighting. Lanez is serving a 10-year sentence after being convicted of shooting Stallion in the Hollywood Hills back in 2020. The singer testified against Lane and in an op-ed wrote, quote, "Even as a victim, I have been met with skepticism and judgment. We didn't hear back from Stallion's attorney and couldn't reach Harris for comment." Lanez's lawyers say they've had the new evidence for months and were waiting on the appeals court to rule, but went public after he was stabbed in prison.
He was stabbed 14 times.
The rapper's father, Sunstar Peterson, says his son is recovering remarkably well, but recounted the story Lanez told him.
And I quote, "Dad, I thought it was my last. And having made my peace with God, I said, okay, God, is this how it's supposed to end for me?" But God said no. God told him, "Do not give up."
The family and legal team insists Lanez was never given a fair trial, raising questions about the prosecution and investigation. But now say Lanez can't wait for the appellate process to play out. In downtown LA, Christy Fajardo, Fox 11.
Prisons.
So all of that. So remember a couple of days ago, I said to you guys in the content, let's see what his lawyer and the doctor and all kind of people are going to come and say to get that boy out. So was it a setup to get him out allegedly, or he was really stabbed up because there was really a problem? Oh my God, the tricks and trades to let some of these people out of jail. And right now, after that, that boy's going to be deported right back to Canada, his country. And then now is his music career going to be over with? Because where else is he going to go when you're going to be admissible to go to America because you have a criminal record? Ouch. Imagine that. So a lot of times when it comes to a lot of black men and a lot of men, sometimes women can be your downfall in life because at times you don't learn and know how to walk away. Okay, guys? So I had to come and shout out that, so to speak. And with the Smokey Robinson situation, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, or whoever don't remember what I'm talking about, I am guys going to remind you guys that this is what's happening now, but this is what happened last time. So let me drop this to you guys quick and fast, just to actually remind you guys about the lawsuit that happened with the situation of Smokey actually Robinson. Okay, and I'm gonna give you guys the a little bit of the backstory, so to speak, when it comes to Smokey Robinson situation. Story, okay? So I am gonna take the screen off to just show you guys for a second. So this is his wife. His wife is in part of the perpetrator as well. This was the whole of the lawsuit that they're suing for. They're suing for 50 million, basically US in damages and all of that. As you know, it was an alleged lawsuit filed on Tuesday, all of that. And then the lawyer came out and said that we believe that Mr. Robinson is a serial and a sick rapist and must be stopped. Right? And the woman's lawyer, John Harris, they had that to say. And remember, I said to you that they said that the reason why the women were scared because right there, the immigration status and all of that. And remember, I said to you guys that they claim that he's supposed to be basically arrested because, you know, he is, you know, a pervert and all of that. And they want that he's supposed to be criminal investigate and all of that in the case. So if you didn't know that this man is a big mogul and right now they're investigating him, see right now, see, and they up the suit, right? Remember I said to you guys, you know, because of berated language, they ill-treat those people with slurs. Remember I said that the suit seek damages based on sexual battery, assault, false imprisonment, right? And gender violence and all of that, right? Compensation of 50 million because more than one of them, right? And like I said, see, what did I say? I said that the lawyer is trying for worthy of criminal investigation. Criminal investigation land us here. And that was 6 days ago. And 6 days ago from now, right now, Smokey Robinson under criminal investigation after sexual assault claims. Okay, guys? So if you didn't understood what I was talking about, if you're new on this channel and you didn't want to bother to go find 6 days story live, then I fill you in. Okay, guys? So that's what I had to say to you guys on a real note and a real notion to let you guys know that more time when we have the content and some other stuff come up in a content or a situation, then we have to update you guys on everything that is happening like right now. Okay? Not only that, we get to understand that DJ Kentucky from the other day have a bag of things to talk about when it comes to the Vice Cartel. That Vice Cartel want to come out and talk about Jesus and all of that. We understand that DJ Kentucky was caught up in some kind of situation with a little child. We're not sure if he ushered out that, obviously, because he's been traveling and he had a party the other day that the party did sell off and all of those things. But let's finish this live with DJ Kentucky basically reasoning about the Vice Cartel situation and a lot more that he has to talk about the machines. I came and talk about the AI in the courtroom, and we talk about how most of these machines and these portable cash register is taking over. You call them machine, you call them robot at the same time. They're just not walking. And most of these jobs are going to be by robots. Like a lot of people are saying that. And sometimes when you have that kind of reasoning, people will think you're crazy. So DJ Kentucky have a lot to say about these things. So let's get into it.
Oh, where the Sanja Foster song? You see that? Jesus is coming sooner, blah, blah. When that? They can't tell you we know we never blood clot do that in the name of you're not Jesus. That tell you. I never boy them no issue. Me just post a video for my page that someone about him and talk about. Oh, a Gaza government song. A 6 year going to do it. Post it, go look again, man. Go look again. That song I just released in 2023. This is a song I just released, so we just put. The two songs Cartel do, the last one, the original Cartel do that in 2023. The song was done in 2020, released in 2023. Nigga, remember me I played that song in 2022, way before release, and I know when I release it. We're not going to learn in a blood clot history. So I'm going to ask you, what happened to Cartel 1 day before you come on? Nigga, what do you, man? What do you know? Dirty government, blah, 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 white Jesus and everybody says, man, this is what we about them with us pray. That was 2023. Cartel never changed, not anybody go through no hard time. He never changed in blood clot thought and instance. Never. That means half a man in Jamaica will see them man. Half a who put your hand in the dance and say pussy and no boy can't change your mind. You're sussy from Jesus says so. Some other. You're mad.
Oh, hi, Kay. How are you? Happy Friday.
Screenshot this to send to them. Half a who in Jamaica talk
Happy
about
Friday,
your
Kay.
blood and you're not bad. Half of the son never sussy change your mind 1 minute before they come out of prison. Mama. I can't tell us no Jesus from blood clotting going till him come out. The last song did as ID for sure. But as he come out, I talk about Jesus, the biggest weapon for holding people from blood clot road. The weakest weapon. Jamaicans will never resolute. Black people will never fight. How the fuck a man go fight when he can pray? That's how your pastor tell every day. Why would you fight when you can blood clot pray? How long you pray for now, bitch? How long you been praying?
Sorry, all the slurs, all the curse words. You know DJ Dirty, he cursed right when he talks.
And you can't tap it evident. The old money used to rely upon whenever Chuck and Trace is out of this blood clot place by the 1st of June. Fucker, what you gonna do to stop this? The new Chucking and Tracing bill will be in full blood clot effect the 1st of June. Because what you do to stop this? Every piece of blood clot, piece of government, no. Plus, you put up cameras in a blood clot road, you see no face everywhere, no go, can't hide. And if you decide to fight back, Elon Musk and back in the machine, never fight pussy one. What do you know? You don't see no gun yet. You don't see no gun. The government are going to ship in the Elon Musk brand new gun, go give police force them. And the braggadocious just slave them more blood clot take it. I'm going for more gunman. I say man shoot off of them. I'm just going to kill them off. Because you know what, nobody who can raise a law. Not that nothing exists. No king. No you can set example in another arrest, you know, no bad. Everybody will bow down to you because they are missed. They are missed of order. The labor right government need to be in position in order to continue this. You will watch everything where you post. You watch everything where you post. Why you not salute the African youth and say I'm going good? You can't. Because I must have part bomb bowl. Now what do you know, man? It's a part. You don't love Jamaica. No Jamaica no love you as a country. I don't see them distracted like on a blood clot idiot. Me dear boy if you fight me now. Nigga, you can't, I'm telling you, you can't fight me. You cannot. You can't even see me care and shoot off. You can intend for bomb buckler shoot off of me care. You cannot. Because you know what? Nobody now speak the truth anymore. It only goes to show that all I done them in Jamaica wake up but they not get a chance to live. Not a chance. And me tell you that them work in a silence. Me tell you them in Jamaica, I am imploring, I'm saying to you all, save on a bullet, stop kill off on one another. I time to friend every community. Dog, me will help contribute to that bomber blood clot. If I don't want to keep a peace party right now, we join any community together, I will play. Me will bring my son come now. Who don't have to do believe, because I don't do believe. Me not going to tell you who don't believe on me, I say me don't do believe. Me not walk around with a word upon my chest and talk about believe no man. You ever hear me say that upon my life? Who never hear me use the word believe yet? Never. Who don't have to believe me? Just call me as a DJ and keep a peace party between Flank and Glendale. I want you over the free of blood clot cause you see what going on. Spanish Town and XYZ, Spain and Rare, blah blah. Anyone of that, so DJ will do something and unite everybody. More you forward and see if me not do that. They done them, cut out on no fuck with. Save on a bullet, on even start communicating with one another silently. Come off of social media. Stop spreading the blood clot disease. Stop showing no care, stop showing no money. Stop showing no friend them. You ever see Kentucky show one of my friend? You ever see me in my car and say, see me and tell me, brother, you never go on party? We don't do that. Nigga, me tell you, if you start a war in Jamaica, you can't know. It will be the one is the most silent bomb-buckled war in the world. You can't know. You don't know who will come for you. You will never know. You will never know. Never. Dance them have to work smart. Andrew and him team have put a team together to fuck up every blood clot done. Wanted or not. Stop the useless, senseless bomb-buckled killing. You're going to need your one another. You've never heard this from nobody else in Jamaica because nobody not talks so. Nobody. And they was okay, it is not neither inciting violence, XYZ. It is obviously teaching you how to be a defender. The world can have no offender if everybody defends themselves. If everybody defend themselves, who is going to create a space for off? Defend yourself. Protect yourself. Stop walk and shoot and kill innocent youth. Not me not say innocent because no man walk this place that earth is not innocent. But if you can't see America send us South Africa to take out the white people and back in a freedom country, them are some bigger gang than me. These are bigger gangs. America, France, Russia are gangs. Them know what they do. See the African leader farm film gang. You know this when you watch him on live, come and follow him 3 page. Why him do every morning? Get up and go and soldier camp. You know, left him gun off and waste. Him go practice, him go rehearse, him train other people. Him train youth from 8-16 to blood clot 35-40. For boss, I'm shot in a straight line. That's what kings do. Prepare yourself for fuck because they don't love us. That me I tell them. They don't love us. Prepare yourself. When you take a page out of the African King book, because bro God now look this up. Bro God now look this Machine and Jones. And we can't fight that.
So what do you guys think about the DJ Kentucky reasoning, guys? You think DJ Kentucky is off his ruckus? Or you guys think that DJ Kentucky is just going on about his business and spitting what facts is basically in regards of that? Now, we leave from there, end up going to Karen's Reed murder trial, day 17. If you guys never heard about this trial is coming up, and we're going to talk about it in another content couple days from now. Okay, let's get there. Moving on from DJ Kentucky, going on to all the way to a trial that's happening now, guys. So let me see if I could pick up this trial. Trial is live. Let's see if I could hear it. Yep. Let me see.
Glass, like perched on his nose, like just wedged like a splinter would be. And
I'm not sure if the extract was sent, but I know that the shaft of the hair was sent to Bodie.
What testing did you perform on the hair?
I did the regular DNA analysis process on the root end of the hair.
And that was done prior to it being shipped to that external vendor, is that correct?
Correct.
And what conclusions were you able to draw from the testing that you did on it?
Yeah, so there was no human DNA detected, and STR analysis was not performed.
What does that mean, sir?
Yeah, so it means that I didn't detect any human DNA, so there might be DNA on there, but it was below what our instrumentation could detect.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Now, turning your attention to item 3-2.1.1. What is the description related to that item, sir?
It's a sample from the exterior of broken drinking glass.
And is there any further indication as far as the broken drinking glass, as far as where it was recovered?
Oh, yeah, 34 Fairview Road.
And were you able to generate a DNA profile from this item, the drinking glass?
Yes, I was.
And from your comparative analysis...
From there, we're going to end up going to the autopsy and the fractured ribs of Karen Reed's boyfriend, okay? A little bit of that.
Could you explain this to us?
Yes, this is the diagram that we use during every autopsy. As you can see, we note the name of the decedent. Every case has its own number. In this case, it was 22-1697. And then we take note of, as I mentioned, during the external examination, physical characteristics such as hair, eyes, teeth. And then on this diagram, we would note any scars we see on the body, any tattoos we see on the body, any injuries we see on the body, and any therapeutic interventions. Those would be things that are sometimes done either by emergency medical personnel or at the hospital. Everything would be noted on this diagram.
Now, if you could take us through, I'm going to ask you, we'll go body part by body part, if that's okay. I'm going to ask you to begin with...
So we're not going to drag out that. Then we're going to go to the trooper reads the text messages of Karen Reed sent to her boyfriend before his death.
2:26 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John O'Keefe, can you please admit your head is out of the game with us? 2:52 p.m. on the 28th. John O'Keefe to the defendant, sick of always arguing and fighting. It's been weekly for several months now. So yeah, I'm not as quick to jump back into being lovey-dovey as you apparently. 2:28 p.m. on the 28th. At 2:47 p.m.
We're talking about her. She's on murder. She's on trial for murdering her boyfriend, okay? These are text messages before he died.
OMG, stop calling.
We're going to talk about that in a couple of days.
On the 28th. From the defendant to John O'Keefe, then why would you start with me this morning, 2:32:58 p.m. on the 28th? When the defendant, John O'Keefe, you're setting me up to fail, 2:33:05 p.m. on the 28th. When the defendant, John O'Keefe, you started a number of fights from your end, 2:33:26 p.m. on the 28th. And John O'Keefe to the defendant, I've explained it a few times already, not doing it again, 2:33:31 p.m. on the 28th. And the defendant to John O'Keefe, so you're not into this
Then
anymore.
Karen, what's the backstory? Karen claimed that she discovered John O'Keefe on the side of the road. Listen.
Hers is the hot crime name of the summer. Millions.
So this is the backstory. I just had to drag out the whole court system and everything, and I'm going to give you guys a backstory. We'll come and talk about it another time. So this is the backstory, okay?
People following her story.
Did she kill her boyfriend, a Boston police officer, or was she framed? You'll see her full interview right here in all new 2020. Starts right now.
So you heard about the black man that run over the police officer because one of the police officers killed his son. You always hear when one of us kill a police officer, but you never heard the story that she killed her boyfriend, the officer. You never heard about the story? Now you better learn. Karen Reed that killed her boyfriend, which is an officer, and claim that they found him at the side of the road. Okay, let's continue.
Do you believe you'll get a fair trial? Karen Reed, indicted for second-degree murder in the death of Officer John O'Keefe.
This is how it just ended with a media storm.
Free Karen Reed!
Protest for Karen Reed right there. But it started with a real storm.
I was worried he might have gotten hit by a plow. That was my first thought. It's the only explanation I could think of for why John just disappeared into thin air.
And now the woman at the center of it is speaking out fully for the first time.
And I said, he's right there. His eyes were shut, and he had spots of blood in different areas on his face.
I remember pounding on my dresser and just literally screaming not John over and over.
Is it possible that you hit him with the back of your car and just didn't realize it?
And I said, this guy didn't get hit by a car. John O'Keefe was murdered, no question. He died at the hands of another person.
Nobody could have imagined what was about to happen next.
There are people that know exactly what happened to John O'Keefe, and they aren't talking.
The whole story hinges on how he got here. Did you kill John O'Keefe?
Okay, so it was accused that she killed her boyfriend of a night of partying. Okay?
A snow emergency has been declared, and the Boston residents...
Okay, so let's get into it for a little bit, and then I'm going to jump off this live. Thank you for watching. So this is more
on Prime.
Okay.
By Mansfield. She was highly educated,
Back up again a little bit.
So this all started on January 28th, 2022. Karen Reed and her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, went out to the Waterfall Bar and Grill, a small bar in Canton, Massachusetts, drinking with some friends.
It's about 15 miles south of downtown Boston. It has a very kind of small town feel to it. It is a lot of public service people, cops, firefighters, EMTs.
John O'Keefe is a 46-year-old police officer with the Boston Police Department, well-liked, well-respected in the community. He took over guardianship of his niece and nephew when his sister and brother-in-law passed away. People describe John as the type of guy that would literally give you the shirt off his back. Karen Reed is a 44-year-old equity analyst and adjunct professor living in nearby Mansfield. She was highly educated, certainly presented well in terms of, appearance and how she carried herself.
They met a couple decades ago, kind of went their separate ways. During COVID, they get back together, and there's some rocks in the relationship.
Now, let's fast forward to the fateful night of January 28th, 2022.
They go out, by all accounts, they have a lot of drinks. They are both fairly intoxicated. There's surveillance footage from the bar that kind of shows them drinking, having a good time. Nothing really out of the ordinary.
Reed and O'Keefe leave the Waterfall Bar and Grill around midnight to travel to the home of Brian Albert, where there's an after party. Partygoers see Karen's SUV arrive at the Alberts' home around 12:15. She leaves around 12:30, but nobody ever sees Karen or John go inside the residence.
It was snowing that night, and it was snowing pretty hard. At some point, it was blizzard conditions. Visibility was poor.
Karen Reed drives ostensibly from the Alberts' house back to John O'Keefe's house, where she's staying that night. And between basically 12:40-ish and 5 o'clock, she calls him 53 times.
John, I'm going home. I cannot babysit you. I need to go home.
She leaves him 8 voicemails.
You are another girl living next to me. You're a loser. Get out.
Denise then makes a phone call first to Carrie Roberts, a friend of both John O'Keefe and Karen Reed, saying John didn't come home, Karen's really upset, and Karen Roberts heard Karen Reed sort of in a heightened state in the background of that call.
Carrie Roberts meets Karen at John's house, where she calls 911.
They were out having drinks, and then she left and expected him to come home at some point, and he never did.
He just didn't come home last night. Is this common sometimes?
Yeah. No. That's kind of why she's more freaking out.
And along with Jennifer McCabe, the trio of women go out looking for John O'Keefe on the morning of January 29th.
The three of them end up together in a car. Jen and Carrie in the front seat, Karen in the back seat. They drive to 34 Fairview, and as they're pulling up to the house, Karen Reed starts screaming and kicking the door and runs out of the car and runs to what Carrie Roberts said was a snowbank. And then Carrie Roberts said, this woman is crazy. What is she doing? And then realizes that in that snowbank is John O'Keefe. She said he was buried under inches of snow.
How did Karen Reed know exactly where to look? Maybe at some point she had a flash of memory. For whatever reason, that's where she went. She's kind of in hysterics. Jen McCabe calls 911.
911, what's emergency?
So that's the backstory, guys. So we're not going to drag it out. Okay, guys? So wrapping up this live, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Okay, happy Friday, weekend, yay, and all of those good things, guys. Just hopefully that your weekend ends up really nice and everything. I want to say a big thank you for those who always watch the content, no matter what time I come on, what hour, what second, don't matter. You guys are always here. I really appreciate you. Okay. And a respect for those who's been here from day one and still here. I respect you as well. And for whoever is having a happy birthday today, happy birthday. And I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful time, but don't overdo it because you want to live to see many, many more when your birthday come around. And all of those great things, guys, in a nutshell and in one. Okay? And at the end of the day, guys, I'll catch you guys another time until we meet again. Peace and love. And I'm out.